So first, we're going to go over how to get to Google Slides. You can click on your app launcher and look for the Slides icon. If you do not see it, you may need to scroll down until you find it. Now, if this is a tool you use frequently, you may want to click and drag it and move it higher up in this list. So you can do that with any of these app tiles. You can click and drag them and rearrange them to what works for you. So that is one way to get to Google Slides. Another way is to type slides.google.com. And if you are already signed in to your MyLUSD account, you will not need to sign in. However, if you are not signed in, you will be prompted to do that. So once you're in Google Slides, this is what the landing page will look like. If you have made some Google Slides presentations, or if anyone has shared any with you, you will see them here. And you can access them by clicking on it, and it'll open up. But to start a brand new presentation, you want to click here on the colorful plus that says blank. So now you should have a new slide deck. As soon as you open one up, you will be presented with the themes available in Google Slides. So to see the different themes available, you want to scroll down in this menu that appears. So you can see they have a few themes available. You can either go ahead and continue with a blank plain theme or select one that is already here. And to exit that theme menu out, you just want to click on this X. Now, please note that if you decide you want to change your theme, you can make that menu pop up again by clicking theme right up here. If you do that, this theme menu will appear again, and you can scroll through and pick a different theme. So the first slide in a slide deck is a title slide. So you'll always see this text box that says click to add title, and the subtext box, click to add subtitle. So you want to go ahead and take your cursor and click inside so that you can begin typing. So let's say you're doing a presentation for your students about perimeter. So you would just type in the word perimeter, or whatever it is the title of your presentation is. Now you can change the font. To do that, you want to double click on the word, or you can click and drag your cursor to highlight it. You'll then see this menu at the top right here. You will see the different fonts available. So if you want to change the default font, you would click on that drop-down menu. And here at the top will be the recent fonts that I've used. And below that will be all other fonts available. So maybe I want to change it to that one. Now this looks like it's a little small, so I do want to make it bigger. To do that, next to the fonts, you will see the font size. So you can either use these pluses or minuses to adjust it, or you can click, you'll get this drop-down menu so that you can scroll down and select, or you can simply type a number in that box, and that'll resize it accordingly. I can then decide if I want to keep it bold or unbold it. Since it was a title, it came automatically in bold. So to undo that, I would just click this B here, or use Control B on my keyboard. I can italicize it by clicking on that I, or I can underline it. So again, it's all up to you which text options you want to use. I can also change the font color by clicking on this A here with the color bar right below it. So here I have the different color choices available to me. And here at the bottom, you'll see the colors that are associated with this slide deck theme. So I'm going to go with this purple. I can also choose to align it differently. To do that, I'll keep going up here in my toolbar, and I'll find this align option here. I would click it, and as you can see, I have the different justifications or different alignments, and maybe I want to center this one. So now I think I'm satisfied with the title. I can go ahead and add a subtitle here. Maybe I'm doing this in advance for a lesson in the future. And again, I can go ahead and change all the font just like I did with the title. If I want to highlight this to make it stand out, next to the bold, italicized, underline, and text color, I have a highlight color. I would click on it, and as you can see, I have the different highlighting options. I'm just going to go with the bright yellow since that really stands out. So now that I'm done with this title slide, I want to add another slide. To do that, I can come up here in this menu bar, and I can click Slide and New Slide, or I can come up here to the upper left-hand side, right under the Google Slides icon. There's a plus with a drop-down arrow. I want to click on it. And I like inserting a slide with this option because it lets me see the different layouts that are available. So as you can see, we've already used the title slide. If I want to have a section or just a title and body or 2 columns with the title. So as you can see, these are the different layouts available. I'm going to go ahead and choose this one. So as you can see, it added the slide right under the title slide. So I'm going to show that one more time. If you ever find that you need to delete a slide, just make sure it's highlighted. As you can see here, it has this orange border around it as well. It's highlighted in like a yellowish orange. I can hit the backspace or delete button and it'll delete the slide for me. So again, to add another slide, come to this option here with the plus and the arrow. You can choose from the different layouts available. So maybe here I want to pose a question for my students. Again, just like I did it with the title slide, I just click on the box that says click to add title or subtitle or text, and I start typing. And as you can see, the red squiggly appears just like it does with Google Docs to let me know I've made a spelling error. So I can right click on my mouse, or if you have a trackpad, I believe it's touch the control button, hold it down, and then click on your trackpad on the word, and you'll see the suggestion here. So I can change or fix my spelling error. So there I can type the title of the slide, which is perimeter. Here I can type the definition. Just like with the title slide, if I want to change the color of this font or the font type or size, I would just highlight it and go back up here to my font options. Drop down for the different fonts, font size, bold, italicized, underline, the color, and highlighting. And alignment as well if you want to align. So maybe I find that instead of text, I want to insert a video. So what I can do is, you see how I've clicked inside this text and it turned the perimeter of this text box into blue? This is how I know that it is selected. So what I want to do is I want to click on it so I can see click to add text again. And I want to hit the delete or backspace button to get rid of that text box. Okay. So as you can see, it's now gone. So I'm going to show that again. To get rid of a text box, I want to click anywhere on the perimeter of the box. I'll know it's selected because I see the blue perimeter around it. Then I just hit the delete or backspace key. So now I want to insert a video from YouTube. So to do that, I want to go to this menu option up here. I want to click Insert, and I want to select Video. Now, if I already know the URL of this YouTube video, I would go ahead and click By URL and take the URL address in the YouTube video and paste it there, and then the video will appear. If it's a video in my Google Drive, I can select Google Drive, and as you can see, videos that I already have are in there, and I can select from there. But I'm going to go ahead and click this back button here, and I'm going to search. I'm going to type perimeter for kids. Now, as we've said before in other webinars or tutorial videos, we really do recommend that you take the time to view any video before you add it to your slide decks that you're going to share with students. We're not going to do that right now for the sake of time. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on this Intro to Perimeter. I know I selected it because, as you can see, it has that blue box around it. Then I'm going to click Select. As you can see, Google Slides realized that I kind of wanted it right there. So what I can do is I can resize it or change the position. So if I want to make this video bigger, I want to make sure I hover my cursor on one of the corners, over one of the corners, and then click and drag. Now, obviously, this is now covering up my title and my definition, so I might want to move those up and make those a little longer, or perhaps just make the video a little smaller. So again, to resize it, you want to click on the video, hover your cursor over one of the corners, and then click and drag. Now, as you saw, this format options appeared automatically when I inserted the video. So if you didn't have a chance to preview it before, you can hit play here and it will play it for you. These format options are pretty neat because you can determine where you want the video to start at. So if you found a video where you have a person explaining other things like who they are in the video and you want to just skip over that, you would just find the timestamp for that and you would put that here. So maybe this real video doesn't really start until 30 seconds. So I would change that start time there. And maybe I don't want the whole video. This video is 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Maybe I want it to end at 2 minutes and 7 seconds because it gave the definition enough along with examples. If you want to show the entire video, just go ahead and click this little refresh button and it'll set it back to the beginning time and the end time. If you want this video to play automatically when you are presenting this slide deck, you want to check this off. However, if you want to control when it plays, leave that unchecked. Okay. To exit this menu, go ahead and click that X. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and click and drag it so that's a little lower. And I can even take this text box and put it up here and change the font color and center the video. If you need to resize a text box, you want to hover your cursor over one of the squares and click and drag. So again, to resize it, hover your cursor over one of those squares, click and drag and release. I can just drag it or use my arrow keys to move it up and down. So let's go ahead and add another slide to this slide deck. So if you remember, we go up here to this plus with the drop down and we can select one here. So I'm going to select this one, the one column text. So maybe I want to show some additional examples. I would title this slide Examples. As you can see, I have nothing here. So I can go ahead and search Google from within Google Slides and find images to insert. To do that, I would come back up here to my Insert menu, click or hover over Image. And as you can see, I have different options here. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and search the web. So I now get this Google search images here that pops up. And I can search here. So as you can see, just typing in perimeter didn't really give me exactly what I wanted. So maybe I want to type perimeter of a rectangle to be more specific. So as you can see, the more specific I get with my search, the more tailored my responses are from this Google image search. So maybe I want this one that shows the formula so I don't have to type it out. So I click on it, and then I'll see this blue bar at the bottom that says one selected. So you can insert more than one image at a time, but we recommend doing just one at a time so that you can resize as necessary. When I'm ready, I want to click Insert. As you can see, the Google image search menu now went away, and I have my image here now. So maybe since this is the formula, I want to retitle this as Formula. That gray is not very easy on the eye, so I'm going to change that to black. So to resize an image, you would do it the same way as you would a text box or a video. You want to click on the image so that you see that it is selected with this blue perimeter. You want to hover your cursor on one of the diagonals or on one of the corner squares. You want to click and drag and then release. We always recommend doing it from one of the corners because if you do it from one of the other spots, it may distort the picture. So if I do it from up here, as you can see, it just makes it longer. So this one looks okay, but if I have a picture of something else, it will look a little odd. The same thing if I go from the side. So we always recommend going from the corners. And if you decide that you need to undo an action, there are 2 ways you can do that, or actually there are 3 ways. One is to click here, this arrow in the upper left that says undo. I can go to the edit menu, click on it, and then click undo, or I can use a keyboard shortcut, which is Control Z, and that'll undo your actions. Okay. And to move the image, you move it the same way that you would move the video or the text box. Click and drag it and release to wherever it is you want it. And again, I'm going to do this for this text box now that they're overlapping, and I may want to make this text a little larger. So if I want to add more to this text box, I would just click on it. I would see my cursor start blinking here, and I can continue typing. Or maybe I want to give my students a list of steps to follow. So I want to say find the length. So maybe I don't want this to just be typed out like this. I want it to stand out more. So I might want to consider adding some bullets or some numbers. To do that, I want to highlight my text. So I would take my cursor, click, and then drag it, and then release. Or I can click my cursor to the front of the text I want to highlight, hold down my Shift button, and then use my down arrow key to highlight all of that text. Now that it's highlighted, I would come up here to my toolbar menu. And if I don't find what I'm looking for, I have these 3 dots here known as the More menu. I want to click on those. Then as you can see, I have more options that have appeared. So here I have the numbered list, and here I have the bullet list. So if I just want bullets, I would go ahead and click that. Now, if you want different types of bullets, you would just click that drop-down arrow, and you'll see the different bullets that are available. If I want to make this more of a numbered list because I want them to go step by step, I would click on this numbered list. And as you can see, it now changed it to numbers. So if we want to now share this with someone else, like maybe I'm collaborating with someone in my department or grade level, and I want them to give me feedback or I want them to add to this, I want to come up to the share button here, and I want to click on it. As you can see right now, when I hovered over it, you see the little padlock, and it shows that this presentation is private only to me. I am the only one who can see this, but I want my colleague to see this. So I would click on this. Oh, and see, I am so sorry. I forgot to go over the first step. You always want to name your presentation as soon as you start. So let me show you how to do that from here. Here at the top, you'll see that it says Untitled Presentation. You want to click on it. And as you can see, Google's AI recognized that the title slide says perimeter, so it just transferred it over. If it doesn't do that for you, you just go ahead and type the title there. Important to name your slide presentations, otherwise they'll be a little difficult to find in your Google Drive because they'll all say untitled. So make sure you title the slide. So again, to share it, let's come to the share button and click on it. And I'm going to share this with Kathleen. Now, as you can see, it does say add more people, so that I can definitely add more than one person at a time. For now, I'm just going to add Kathleen though. And when I come here to this little pencil icon, I can see I have different choices if I click on that arrow. So there are 3 different ways to share this with someone. I can give someone edit access, meaning they have complete access to the slide presentation, so they can add text and slides or delete slides and text and images and videos. So they would have almost the same access that I do as an owner. If you only want to give them commenting access, that means they can view the presentation and they can add comments, which we will go over after this. If you just want them to view it, because maybe it is a sample presentation you showed your students and you want to show them an exemplar, you would click view. But for this case, I want Kathleen to be able to edit it, so I'm going to select Can Edit. Here I can add a note so that she doesn't just get a blank email. So maybe I want her to provide me with feedback. When I'm ready adding a note, I would click send. Kathleen would then get an email saying that I have shared this with edit access with her. So if she is able to pop on, I will see her face appear up here at the top. So this is how you know if someone is presently on your slide deck. You will see their little icon or image if they added one to their Google account. They'll appear right here. So now we're going to show you how to add comments. To add a comment, you want to simply click on where you want the comment to appear. So if I want it to appear here on the image, I would click on the image and I would come up here. Oh, by the way, see, Kathleen just popped in. And as you can see here on the left side where I have all of the slides I've created, I can see which slide she is currently on. Oh, so now she popped over to this slide. So that's how you can see where people are when you have shared slides with them. Similar to docs. So if I want the comment here, I want to click on it and I want to click on this comment icon. And as you can see, my little comment box pops up. So maybe I have a question that I want to pose to Kathleen. Then I hit comment when I am ready. So Kathleen, when she clicks on this, she can then give a reply, type it out and then hit reply. Or if she feels that, yeah, it does show perimeter well, she can resolve the issue by clicking resolve. So maybe I want to come back to this slide and ask for feedback on the video. Maybe I can ask, is this video too long? When I'm ready to put my comment, I would hit comment. Now let's say I realized I wanted to add more to this comment. I would hover my cursor or click on the comment itself, and I have these 3 vertical dots, the more option or the more menu. I would click on it and I would click edit. I could then edit my comment here and then click save. This will now update the comment. Now, what's neat with commenting, let's say Kathleen decides, oh, there she is. She just replied to this comment. If I am not on this Google slide, I will receive an email. Since I am the owner of this slide deck, I will receive an email notifying me that she has replied to this comment. So I can then pop in and see what she has said. So since she said it's clear for students, I'm going to go ahead and resolve this comment. And it's gone away. Now, if you ever want to see the comment history, because I know many of you like to provide feedback to your students as they're working on something through the mode of adding comments. If you want to see the history, you want to come up here. You'll see this little talking bubble, and this is your comment history. You want to click on it to open it, and here you will see live comments. So you can see that it's white, and you'll see comments that have been resolved in gray. Now, let's say your student resolved the comment, but they never replied to your comment or resolved something. Maybe you asked them to add an image to explain their point more, and they just hit resolve and didn't add an image. You can click here, reopen, and as you can see, it has popped back up here on the slide deck. So now we're going to go over version history. I know sometimes we may accidentally delete things and we kind of go into panic mode because we're like, oh my gosh, where did it go? So if you want to see the version history, which is also great if you assign this as group work, so you can see which students are doing the work to see if it is truly divided. You want to go to File, then Version History, and we want to click See Version History. This will now take you to the version history page. Now, you saw that I did a lot more work than just 2 things, right? So you want to pay attention to these little arrows that are next to the dates. This means that there are more versions within that date and time. So to see those, you want to click on that arrow, and you will now have a more detailed view. So to see the difference in the version history, you just click on it. So let's say I want to see what happened at 10:14. And as you can see, it's color-coded here. If you come up here, or if you look at this menu, all these teal dots show that I'm the one who made the changes. So if you have multiple people on the slide deck, each person will have their own color, and the color will be displayed next to their name. So that way you can see who made the changes. So let's say I want to restore to the version I did here without the instructions on how to solve perimeter. I would want to click on it, and I know it's selected because you see that the box is a kind of orange-yellow color. And here at the top, you'll see restore this version. So if I'm sure that I want to restore that, I would click on it. And Google gives this pop-up like, are you sure you want to change it to this version? And if you are sure, you click restore. And as you can see, it will take me back to that version where I do not have the steps. And as you can see, I also have a confirmation here at the top. So I'm going to show you again the version history, File, Version History, See Version History. And if you want to see more details, you want to click on the arrow. And I see here that Kathleen is in purple. So if she would have added anything, it'll appear highlighted in purple. So if I want to restore back to where it was, where it had the different steps on how to solve the perimeter, I want to click on that version and then click Restore Version. If you don't want to restore any version, you just want to see the version, you want to go ahead and just click this back arrow and it'll take you back to the slide deck. But I'm going to go ahead and restore this version and confirm the restoration. As you can see, it's back to how I had it with the formula. So one last thing I'm going to show is how to add shapes. To do that, I'm going to add a new slide. This one I'm going to make it blank. This will be handy if you decide to have your students create something where, like a comic or a storyboard, they can use the shapes to turn them into different people or scenes. Or if you're covering math, it helps with perimeter area, you know, the geometry standards and such. So to insert a shape, I come back to this insert menu and I go to shape. And as you can see, I have 4 options that pop up. Shapes, and here are the different shapes you see that are available. Arrows, callouts, like banners, or the talking and thought bubbles, or equations. So to insert one, you just want to click on it. As you can see, my cursor has changed to a plus or a T. I want to click, hold, and drag wherever I want to have my shape, and then release. If I decide that I need to resize it, I would do it the same way as I would resize a text box, an image, or video. Click on it to ensure I see the perimeter, and then click on a diagonal and drag to resize. What's neat is you can also change the color of this. So if I click on it, I'll see the fill bucket here. So I want to click on it, on the fill bucket, and I'll see the different colors that I can switch it to. And what's great is you can also double click on it, and you can type information or anything that you need to type inside the shape. So again, you would just double click inside the shape and start typing. And you can manipulate this text the way you would if it's in a text box by going up here to this toolbar. So one more time to insert shapes, I come to the insert menu, shape, select a shape by hovering over the category and then clicking. You'll see that your cursor has changed. You want to click and drag and then release. And then remember, you can change the color. You can also resize it and type inside of the shape by double clicking on the shape and manipulate the text as you would if there were a regular text box. So those are the basics of Google Slides.